On episode 201 of the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, we meet Miranda Esmonde-White and discuss her new book, Forever Painless. You can find the show notes for this episode at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/201. Have you decided you're ready to make a change? To reclaim your health and fitness? The 40 Plus Fitness podcast is here for you. I'm your host, Alan Meisner. I'm an NSAM certified personal trainer with a specialization in corrective exercise and fitness nutrition. Let me be your coach as you find your way on your health and fitness journey. All right, let's go. Miranda Esmonde-White is one of America's greatest advocates and educators of healthy aging. Following her career as a professional ballerina, Miranda developed her own fitness technique, Eccentric, and became the flexibility trainer to numerous professional and Olympic athletes. Her fitness TV show, Classical Stretch, has been airing on PBS and public television since 1999, helping people of all ages and fitness levels rebalance their bodies and keep their joints healthy and pain-free. So Miranda, welcome to 40 Plus Fitness.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
You know, I am really excited to have you on the show. It's kind of interesting. When I was kind of getting on my health and fitness path, one of the things that I knew I needed to start working on was my mobility. And I actually picked up one of your DVDs. That was my go-to stretching routine, Eccentric.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was just kind of funny that when your book came out, I'm like, okay, got to get her on. Absolutely. So your book is Forever Painless. And I really like that title because it kind of goes along with what we're after here is we want to live long, healthy lives, and recognizing when we're over 40, we need to do things a little bit differently than we did when we were younger. And I really do think mobility has to be a part of that program. So I really appreciate the approach you have in this book.
Thank you. Yeah, mobility is for pain and for staying young. They're equally important because when you're in pain, you feel as though you're old. So even people in their 20s, when they're in pain, chronic pain I'm talking about, they're feeling old and they, because you don't have an optimistic attitude. You're just feeling you can't do anything, you're slowed down. So mobility is what's slowing everybody down. And pain is chronic pain. I have worked on a lot now with a lot of scientists and doctors, and it really is a lot to do with mobility and our lack of it.
Okay, and that's what I want to kind of start with is, can we kind of get into the biology of pain? And as a kind of a definition, in the book you put this, acute pain means, you pretty much turned your ankle, you did something to injure yourself, so you know why you're feeling that pain. But chronic pain, typically we don't even know why we're hurting, and there's typically nothing physiologically wrong with us that would cause the pain. So can you kind of get into that? Right.
Okay. So as you said, acute pain is, why. You've had an accident, a burn, a break, surgery, whatever. It's obvious. And it heals quite rapidly. A burn, go in there, you heal it. Chronic pain is pain that's lasted for more than 3 months. So that's got something to do with the mechanical system of our body. And the mechanical system is our three components that I talk about in the book, the three major components towards the movement, our mechanical movement, simply that, our bones, our muscles, and our connective tissue. So when they're unbalanced, when they're out of whack, let's say, then we're going to be in pain, because pain is a message from the brain telling us that there's something, I'll use the word out of whack, in our body that needs to be put back in alignment with everything else in order to not continue on causing damage. So we want to repair any damage or any potential damage. So pain can be mild, and then it increases over the years. It's a warning. It's a message that there's something that's not quite right. So we can fix it early on, or we can ignore it, which a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people will sit there and say, well, it's not bothering me, or this is just a sign of me getting a little older, so I have to accept this. That's the way it's going to be. But you're saying that's not so.
No. And the scary part, or the interesting part, is that 80% of the damage that we do to our body, we don't even feel any pain or discomfort. It's only after we've damaged the muscles or the bones or our connective tissue through scar tissue, and 80% damage. So we can go a long way of wrecking our bodies without even knowing it. So by the time we feel something, there is really a problem. Even if it's a little bit, there's already a problem that needs to be addressed and reversed. But the human body is a self-healing machine. You just have to know how to make the self-healing aspect function, how to trigger it to self-heal.
Okay. Now, I'd like to drill in a little bit on, because you get into this in the book in quite a bit of detail, is how most chronic pain is going to be caused by muscle imbalances.
Muscle imbalance, a poor alignment of the bones, which could lead to muscle imbalance. Like the two aren't necessarily caused, one doesn't cause the other. Poor alignment might be caused by muscle imbalance, for instance, in our spine, or the opposite. The spine, poor alignment, then pulls the muscles out of place. So muscles pull the bones, bones pull the muscles. Or muscles are designed to move. The human body is designed to move us through space, to get us up, walk around, do everything. And when we stop moving, then our connective tissue, particularly our fascia and our ligaments and tendons, begin to harden. And then they start to become quite rigid and they lock us in place. So we feel stiff. And we're thinking we're just getting old because we feel stiff, but it's because our connective tissue is starting to congeal and limiting us. It's like locking us down. So that's why you notice older people can hardly move, because their connective tissue has closed their body down. It's like we're being surrounded by this sleeve of hard fabric that resists it, like we're in this tight jumpsuit that's getting tighter and tighter and stops us from moving. So when you move your muscles gently, you won't tear your connective tissue, which is why I talk about gentle movement. If you move roughly and fast, and you're going to tear it for sure. And if you tear it, you're going to cause a scar, and scar tissue will then cause more immobility. So we have to move gently and slowly to reintroduce movement to the muscle, and then movement to the connective tissue, the fascia that's surrounding the muscles, the ligaments and tendons that are attaching the muscles to our bones, so that we can start to regain mobility. And then we can realign poorly aligned joints, which could be causing a lot of joint damage, like arthritic pain and stuff like that. So the three components have to be worked on simultaneously. You can't just think muscles. You have to think muscles, connective tissue, bones, and you have to think gentle movement, knowing that rough movement is going to cause even more damage. And gentle movement, ironically, will give you very, very rapid results.
Yeah. So as I kind of unpack a little bit about what you just said, it's, basically, you need to work on your posture and alignment, because if you don't, you're going to be out of line, and that's going to cause the muscles to be imbalanced. Also, if you're not moving regularly, sitting all the time, getting the sitting disease, basically you're setting yourself up to be immobile. And so both of those circumstances are kind of situations that we've lived with or we've dealt with in our lives. And so now we're at this point, and Eccentrics is pretty much an exercise program that allows you to do that gentle movement to repair some of those issues.
Right. What I call the mantra of Eccentrics is full body. You have to work the full body. So we have roughly 650 muscles and 360 joints. If you don't work one muscle group, that muscle group will slowly congeal, become unbalanced, and cause imbalances in the chains throughout the body. So you can't just work, let's say, your posture. You can't work your spine. You have to work from your fingers right through tips of your head into the tips of your toes in order to rebalance every part of your body and have the body fully mobile. It simply cannot work when you think of the body as pieces. You have to think of it as a unit. And so the Eccentrics program, and we have these very easy workouts. They're 15, 20, 22-minute workouts where you work all 650 muscles, rebalancing and realigning. It's quite easy. You just have to work gently and in these large and small body movements, but gently. So, in order to rebalance the full body.
Yeah, particularly the warm-up. As I was kind of going through the book, I was like, this warm-up is a perfect warm-up that you should pretty much do before any activity, because it just really is it's a good movement. Can you kind of just real quickly kind of talk us through that warm up? Because I'd like to leave the listeners here with just a little exercise thing they can do right now to start getting their body moving.
Well, the warm up, and I'm so happy that you talked about the warm up, because people can do the warm up when they get out of bed. It's 5 minutes. It's nothing. And it'll prepare you for your day. And it's just a matter of just gently sort of swinging your arms like the pendulum of a clock, just gently, focusing on relaxing every single joint. So ironically, people are so tight that they move like robots. So just to release the tension in your elbows, in your fingers, in your shoulders, in your spine, and just rotate, just swaying around your body. That's a hard workout for some people, let me tell you. And I put a lot of emphasis on the warm-up. Warm-ups to me are, if you don't do a good, correct, gentle warm-up that works through every joint, like these rotational, slow, but gentle movements, you can't do any other exercises correctly because the body is not properly prepared. So yeah, it's the swaying, the gentleness, and the moving easily around your spine, bending your knees, but gently bending them, making sure that you are never, ever in pain. So that you go to the point where you feel some pain, you stop, you come to the place where there's no pain, and that's your level. And you work there. You don't work into the pain, you work before the pain. And that will trigger the brain to undo certain loops that get caught in re-triggering the pain message. So you never should work in pain. So that's how to do the warm-up. Relaxed, swaying. The pictures are all in the book, so it really is quite clear, but relaxed, swaying, and never, ever in pain.
Well, that's what I've really liked about your program. And it was kind of enlightening when I first got into this, was that, I had always, I don't know, I'd always hurt when I stretch, because when they teach you to do your stretching, it's like, go do your stretching. It's like, oh, this is painful, in this position. But that was kind of the mantra. But I guess that's been the mantra on a lot of things, no pain, no gain. And I mean, we take that to stretching too. And it's not really the truth.
The mantra was put in the fitness industry, let's say 40 years ago, no pain, no gain. And to me, it is the most ridiculous mantra ever, because when you realize that pain is a message saying that there's damage being done to the body, then why would we continue on damaging the body and expect to gain something? It's absolutely crazy, but none of us ever thought about it until recently. And since I've been doing all this research, I've realized, this is crazy. The mantra that I've followed all my life up until the past 10 years is we've got to get people to think differently, that if you are not in pain, then you will gain so much, because the body will let you strengthen. It will let you move. But if you're in pain, the body has these incredible protective mechanisms that will literally prevent you from gaining. So you're going to damage it if you push beyond those protective mechanisms. So, no pain ever is now the new mantra. Ever, ever.
Awesome. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you or learn more about Eccentrics or get the book, where would you like for me to send them?
To our website, which is eccentrics.com, and it's spelled ESSENTRICS.com. So not the normal way of eccentric characters, but ESS, like S as in Samuel, SSENTRICS. And they'll be able to reach me or look on the website, and they'll be able to get the book if they want. They can get the book through any bookstore, Amazon, or any major retailer. And, lots of videos to help guide them also.
Great. Now, this is going to be episode 201, so you can find that. The show notes will have the links at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/201. Miranda, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate this opportunity to have this conversation with you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. So next time.
If you enjoyed this episode, would you please share it with friends and family? Thank you. Next time on the 40 Plus Fitness Podcast, we meet with Dr. Thomas Cowan and discuss his book, Human Heart, Cosmic Heart. Until then, have a happy and healthy day.